How's it going, everybody? I'm your host, Jacob Whitman, and today I am joined by
Calvin,
Michael,
and I'm Brandt.
And today we're going to be talking about the topic of school safety. So I guess the first question I want to ask you guys is, do you feel safe at your school?
I mean, yeah, I would say so. I don't see why I wouldn't be, honestly. I mean, I can tell, like, my school does the best they can in terms of safety and everything, and, like, they're, you know, when something's wrong and stuff like that, they usually are very aware of it since it's such a small school and everything, when anything's going around. As far as I'm aware it is, I'm not 100% sure, though, I guess.
Okay.
Personally, I feel safe because, like, there's not a lot of bullying at my school as far as I know. Like, there's no, like, physical bullying. There could be, like, verbal bullying, but, like, behind the back, that's, like, from what I've seen. But, I mean, if we're talking of, like, school safety by, like, physical, like, it's pretty safe. Like, no one, like, throughout my high school career, there was only, like, one fight, and it so happened to be right next to my locker, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And the teacher broke it up, and, yeah, but I say my school's pretty safe, too.
What about you, Brandt?
Yeah, I don't really see an issue at PW in safety. I mean, we just went through like a $6 million bond extension a couple years ago, so that extends like anyone coming in. That keeps us safe from them. But just inside the schools, I don't feel like there's a big worry about bullying. There's a big worry about anything.
Yeah. So, like, at my school, it's pretty small, so not a whole lot of bullying goes around. Like you said, verbal. I've seen verbal, not any physical. Not that I can
There
think
was
of.
one time, because me and you, Jake, we go to the same school.
Right.
Remember, there was one time I remembered, I won't say his name, but it was in the, what was the room that we have senior seminar at?
I'm not sure.
Well, it was in that particular room, I remembered, with one of our kids in our grade, and then the other one, some guy who was in, like, I think he was a senior at the time. I don't know, something about a girlfriend or whatever.
Oh, so this was a while ago. Yeah.
This was a while ago, yeah.
See, yeah, no, I think I remember that, but
Otherwise,
yeah, it wasn't really. I don't know if it was bullying, but I mean, it also goes back to school safety because I know they were doing some things that weren't really that safe.
yeah, a lot of people though in bad. They talk the talk like, oh, I'm gonna do this to this guy. They never do it.
Yeah.
Except for that one time. That was about it.
Oh, jeez.
So yeah, like I've noticed that since I've been in elementary school, they've upgraded like security systems. Like you have to it's like this whole system to get in the building. You have to be scanned in by somebody, then you have to go to the office. And I don't know how they do about strangers. I know students they just scan you in, and then you like fill out that you're returning or where you were and all that. So
that's how I got in today.
Yeah,
Was I had to scan a little.
There's nothing like that at my school.
Yeah.
Like we just like the most there is just like we have key cards. We have, like that only certain people have. Might add, and like the school's doors are locked. That's why some people have key cards because they got to get out.
So not every student has a key card.
No, it's mainly just like the CCRESA students.
Yeah.
Like
Fair enough.
for example, the digital media guys like us, and then yeah, but like I see like at somebody else's school, like I have a friend in Oklahoma that I play with online on Xbox, and he sent me a couple pictures of his school. Like in his cafeteria, he has security guards. Yeah, and it's like, why is there some dude like? Why is there like a security guard in the back? And he's like, oh, because it's normal. You don't have any of that, and I'm like, no, I don't.
Yeah, at our school we have cameras.
Oh, yeah, cameras. We do have that, too.
Yeah, that's really the way it is at PW. We have cameras all over the building. Every door is locked. In fact, I think there are only a handful of doors that even have handles on them. The only place you can get in during the day is the front office. And if you're going out to your car, you have to sign in, or you have to sign out and sign back in. If you're coming in, you have to sign in. And we have, obviously hall passes to be sure just not anyone's in the hallway at any time. I mean, obviously there's other reasons why they have hall passes, so that you're not just constantly out of class. But, if they limit how much you're in the hallway, there's, a better chance that there's someone not being bullied in the hallway. Or, this guy just walked by. I'm going to just go follow him, say I'm using the bathroom, and go beat the crap out of him.
Right.
Yeah.
So them are just a couple small things that just go a long way come safety.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, what kind of drills do you have? Do you have any, like what do you guys focus on the most in drill-wise?
My school, we're pretty well rounded. We just only focus on like the main three are the tornado, the fire, and the lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
And we do those probably about basically as much as the state needs us to, and it's pretty well rounded. I think it's like we do at least one of those a month, like at least one of the three a month.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I don't think we did it last month. Anyway, yeah, that's basically the main thing with like the drills. We just do the main three.
Yeah, obviously over at PW we do the main three, but we're in transition to getting to a new lockdown drill. It's called Run, Hide, Fight, and we don't practice it. We probably should, honestly, but we don't practice it because when you're not in a real situation, they don't want you smashing a window to get out.
Right.
Yeah.
Or they don't want you, as funny as this is, hitting someone with a book.
Yeah.
They don't want you to practice it. So what's the only way we do right now is hide. But they say if there ever is someone who comes in or there's a threat in the school, they say run, hide, fight.
Right.
It's a big transition, but I feel like that's the safest we're gonna get right now.
Right.
I remember back in like middle school, they told us of like level 3 levels. There's like level 1 where like we still everyone just locks the doors. We still have class. There's level 2 where we actually hide in our classrooms. Then there's level 3 where like we try to find the nearest exit and just run.
Yeah.
And we never actually practiced that. We may have actually. I think the only real lockdown we ever had was the level one, which was just sit in the classroom and just continue class.
Right.
And honestly, I didn't even realize it was a lockdown until like my friend told me later. I was like, wait, that was a lockdown?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we call that a soft lockdown, and we never really use that for anything other than, like, there was a guy last year who was having a medical emergency in the hallway, and they didn't want people passing through there, so they just said, go into soft lockdown, and all we do is just close the doors. And I don't even know if I think they closed the doors, but everyone just had to stay in their classrooms. And I know they do it when they have like searches. They'll bring in the police dogs and whatnot.
Right.
I think it's only happened once since I've been there.
Yeah.
But they did ironically find some stuff. So I mean, it's only happened just those 2 times, but it's something that we do use, but we never practice because it's just not that common.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I actually remember we did actually have a lockdown, like a level 2 lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
Like back when I was in 6th grade, because but there wasn't anybody in the school or anything. It was just like the elementary school I was at. Like we were in town, and there was like some dude in town that was pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
So we still had to do that.
We've
lockdown.
had that before too.
Yeah.
I guess our the one we focus on the most is the lockdown. And we'll have like our fire drill. We'll usually do like 2 right at the end of the year, and tornado drill. But ours is kind of like the same thing. We don't really practice the whole fighting thing, as funny as that sounds. But they just tell you, you have to. If you have to fight, then just fight.
I mean, the run, hide, fight. It sounds weird, like I mentioned, hitting someone with a book.
Right.
But in that situation, it's more. Obviously there are interior classrooms where you don't have a window and you can't get out. So they say just grab whatever you can.
Right.
Try to lock yourself in there. But if that person gets in, you need to be able to defend yourself. And it's not really so much of you're trying to hit the guy. It's if you create a distraction while you're trying to move around. I mean, that's another thing they really stress is that move around. If you can't get out, and someone you're in kind of the sight, don't run in a straight line. That's too easy for them to hit you. Just go all over the place because obviously a moving target is a lot harder to hit.
Right.
Yeah, I still feel like, though, depending on, like, how close they are, it's still going to be an easy chance for them to, like, hit them, like, either in the leg or somewhere, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Especially since there's, like, around 20 to 30 kids in a class. Like, there's not that much room you can move around with that many people in a room.
Yeah, and there's obviously nothing that's going to completely take you out of harm's way, but they just want to give you the best odds of being missed.
Right.
And obviously right now we're all referring to an armed gunman coming into the school, but it might just be someone as simple as, you know, he's got, I don't know, some form of stick or he's got a knife or something, which obviously then you aren't going to run away. You're just going to hide in the classrooms or heck, even throw something at him then. But I don't think anyone's going to come in with a knife unless it's a student. I think they're going to come in with a gun.
Right. And it's scary to think about that, you know, you go to school and you might have to fight for your life. It's
exactly. My mom always says back in the day they never had a lockdown drill.
Yeah.
They didn't have such a thing because it was unheard of that someone came into the school and shot. I mean, Columbine back in, I think it was 99. That's really what opened people's eyes and went, okay, this is a real thing. You know, we need to do something about it. Sandy Hook, unfortunately, that had to happen to really start bringing about cause of things. I mean, I think mid-February is when I read the stat that 26 schools had already been shot at. That's just unheard of, and that's a month and a half.
Yeah. Is that this year or just time?
That was this year, February of this year. 26. It was a month and a half, and 26 schools in the nation had been shot at or in already.
That's crazy.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, that's.
I've heard about that.
Like after the Florida shooting that happened, where like 17 kids got shot or whatever, there was like a trend for a while where like people would go like, oh, I'm going to shoot up the school or whatever, or like there was so many threats called. Like, luckily, my school didn't get any threats, but like I have like half sisters that go to Grand Ledge, and like they got threats.
Yeah,
and
I guess didn't Bath get a bomb threat shortly after that, or was it shortly before us?
So basically, recently, I think it was at the elementary and the middle school, where there was a student that went into the bathroom and was writing a threat, like a bomb threat, on the bathroom stall, and they actually got charged. They got like charged. I don't know what it was. But I think
it wasn't good.
It was a ridiculous amount of money, like thousands of dollars, just for like, you know, that just writing something on a stall. It's
I mean, I don't even know why you would say something like that. Why would you write something like that? I mean, you may just be kidding, be like, huh, this is funny, but it's not, because when
it's serious,
a student sees that and thinks, if I come to school tomorrow, I might die.
Right. Yeah.
You know, no parent wants to send their kid to school knowing that there's a threat, and
that was actually, middle
I'm glad
schoolers.
that it was brought up because, you know, obviously you don't want a bomb or a gun threat and just being like, okay, I'll just let it play out.
Yeah, and it gets everyone worried, like the students, the
then you might even be charged. I'm not sure how that would work, but if you saw that and didn't report it, you might be charged with knowing. I can't remember what they call it now, but you know, knowing that the crime was going to happen and not doing anything about it, you would be sitting in jail.
Like I remember this one story. Actually, this happened this year. Back in the fall, some kid at my school, like this happened before the Florida shooting. He was playing Xbox with his friends, and they were talking or whatever. And then after he got off, he posted a picture of himself with like a airsoft gun, but the orange tip was like was like painted, so you couldn't tell if it was a real gun or not. Yeah. And the caption was, "Don't come to school tomorrow." He actually got one of his friends actually reported on him, and actually he actually had next thing you know, the kid had cops coming over to his house, and he had to explain that. Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, it's serious too.
I don't blame his friend for reporting on him like that, honestly, because it's just like, one, you know, I mean, those airsoft guns, like,
they look real. A lot of them look.
They do. Even the plastic cheap ones can look pretty realistic at times, especially from a far away. And if you don't see the orange tip and you paint over that, so that kid was being dumb. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, there was a guy from Missouri a couple years ago who got shot by a cop because, the cop was telling him drop the gun. Well, it was an airsoft gun. Well, from a distance, do you think a cop notices or cares if it's an airsoft gun or a real gun? He sees a gun. He's not gonna wait in until you shoot at him to tell you to drop it. And
that is true.
Forbid, why wouldn't you just listen to the cop anyway? If it's not a real gun, why wouldn't you just listen to him anyway? But that caused the nation into, again, another riot, and that just all leads up to everything with school safety.
I actually remember hearing about that. Like, I was talking with a cousin, and he mentioned that. I was like, no way. That's crazy.
I mean, it was dark, so, I mean...
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
you could...
Yeah. It's...
Point is, if a police officer says drop it, you drop it.
Right.
Yeah. No matter what, just listen to the police.
And I feel like these kids, like, they know what they're doing. Like, the people who were drawing the bomb threat in the bathroom, like, they know there's no cameras in there, so they're thinking they're not going to get caught.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I still don't know why you would do it. It's just dumb.
It's just stupid.
It's stupid.
Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't think they get, like, the effects that will come back on them if they get caught,
Yeah.
It's not just a little slap on the shoulder and
it's
no, that's bad. You're probably going to find yourself in jail for a threat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if it is all just for them getting attention, honestly. Because I know some people who would do that sort of stuff. And I feel like there's been reports where people have said, like, that why did you do this and stuff like that. I just wanted attention and stuff. I just wanted to be known. I remember seeing stuff like that, and I'm thinking that, I feel like some kids, especially ones that are not noticed that well, I think probably maybe they want to get noticed and they don't know how to, so they do crap like this. And that's one thing. I'm not saying that's the reason, but like that could be a reason. Honestly, I could see it.
If I remember hearing right, I'm pretty sure the Parkland, Florida shooter, either his mom or his father just passed away.
Yeah,
and he was feeling lonely and whatnot, and probably just wanted the attention. And the people at his school probably weren't giving him attention. So,
right.
I mean, if you're looking for ways to stop school violence, I mean, just be nicer.
Right.
That's definitely one way to do it. Just be nicer, and no one's going to have a reason to. Which
people
obviously that's easy for me to say.
Yeah,
and all of us to say, coming from a school's under 1,000 people, but you get up into like Detroit, Lansing, where they have 1,000, 2,000 people, maybe even 3,000 per school.
Yeah,
then that's a little different to say.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, like, there's actually, like, I can't imagine like going to a school and like not knowing everybody there.
That would make me feel unsafe. I mean, we had a bunch of new kids come into the school this year, and there are still some of them I sit back and go, man, that guy's still a little sketchy.
Yeah.
But if half of your class you don't even know, that would make me feel uncomfortable with them, unsafe. Yeah. That would make me feel like, man, I don't know, that guy seems like he's the kind of guy, and believe me, maybe it's not the same at Lansing or in Detroit or any of these big schools, but a rumor gets around pretty quick at PW, and I'm sure they do at Bath and Ovid, Elsie too. So it's just something of, well, this person mentioned that they might shoot up the school. Well, that gets around the school like that, and you don't even know them. I mean, if someone told me someone at PW is going to shoot up the school, I might be like, oh, they were just kidding. There's absolutely no way. But if you didn't know him, it's like, I'm getting the heck away from him.
Uh-huh.
So,
It's much scarier when it's somebody that you don't know because, well, you don't know them.
Right.
Exactly.
Like if, like, and I'm not saying Jacob you would ever do this, but say if Jacob did say, I want to shoot up the school one day and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. One, I'd say, okay, that's not something to joke about. You're a moron for saying that, which I know he wouldn't say that. But I know he'd also be joking too, and I've had friends who have joked about that, and I know people who joked about that, but I know they wouldn't do that because I don't think they're dumb enough to do that, and I just know they're kidding. But if you don't know that person, though, it's a lot scarier because you don't know what they're gonna do.
Right.
You really,
no matter how hard you try, I mean, you figure if there's a high school of 3,000 kids, that's roughly about a little under 1,000 a class. So if you have 600 people in your class, I mean, geez, that's
a lot.
That's a lot of people. You're not going to, even 100, 200, that you're not going to get around to getting to know everyone. You're not going to know them personally, and you're not going to know if maybe they would be. Just kidding.
Right.
Like I mentioned, there are people in my grade who came into the school this year, and it's almost the end of the school year, and I still don't know a lot about them. So it's like, you know, I don't know. They seem a little sketchy.
And it's also just kind of hard sometimes to talk to certain people, like to go up and like talk to somebody, especially if they do seem sketchy. I mean, maybe they could be a really good person and stuff like that, but some people just won't go up there and take the time to like do that. And I'm not saying you have to or you should, but you know, I mean,
I don't
know.
Like some people are really hard to talk to. Like either it's like you don't know what to talk to them about because you don't know them, or B, they're like you try to talk to them and like just ask generic questions like small talk and they just don't want to answer, or like they just push you away and go like go away, you know. Like I don't know, it's just
and I shouldn't bring up the sketchy part, you know, bring up that they seem sketchy, because really, I mean, us guys sitting here, I don't know what any of you guys got going on at home. You could have abusive parents, you could have neglect. You never know. A person could throw on a face and be happy man at school and then go home and have the absolute worst life and be depressed. And it's just all that build up trying to transition could make them go nuts and do something like shoot up the school.
Right.
So you never know with anyone, and it's not really there to, I don't really say that to make anyone feel insecure about being there, but it's just that's the reason why you always try to be your nicest to everyone, because you never know. Even if it's just, you know, they step out in front of you in the hallway and you just kind of go, you know, you just kind of sigh or you make a comment under your breath or something. Well, you don't know what that person's got going on at home. They could be getting beat and abused and not be in the right state of mind and happen to stumble out in front of you. You just
plus accidents happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
whatever.
If people want to stop violence at school, you just be nicer. You know,
I feel like there's not like I don't think everyone can like be nice to each other just because, you know, different personalities. So, you know, let's say there's this one kid that, you know, isn't really happy in general. And then you got a bunch of people who are just positive and outgoing, and they're around him. Well, the other person, you know, he's not positive. So that can just be really hard for him to like fit in. So
yeah, there's always that like gap between like certain people and stuff. And bad, I gotta give it to them. Like I don't have anybody that's like, even though I have zero like stuff in common with like some of the more quote unquote popular kids, I guess you would say. They treat me nice and stuff like that, and they actually treat me just like, you know, any other person at the school, like just like a normal guy and stuff. They don't like look down upon me or anything. They're just like, you know, you like what you like and stuff like that. You seem cool. You're not like crazy, like, you know, like annoying or anything. I think that's, you know.
Yeah,
well, that's not even going to school shooting so much right now.
Right.
You know, that's where a lot of the bullying comes from, is that people don't see the other side of people. Like, someone could have the crappiest clothes, but who knows? They might not have a well-income family at home. So maybe they want to have nice clothes, but they don't. And that's where bullying comes in. Like, someone goes, hey, look at that guy's clothes, and people start laughing about it, and like I mentioned, rumors spread quick around the school. So one person thinks, it'd be funny if I started a rumor that he burns his clothes and whatnot. And that rumor just spreads, and it goes to show that if you want a safer environment at schools, you just can't do stuff like that. You gotta be nice. Well, not even being nicer, just seeing the other side of things and keeping your mouth shut.
Well, it's not only like people that have like bad things going on at home that are getting bullied. Like some of the people that have bad things going on at home like are the bullies themselves, because like they bully like other people just because they feel empowered. They feel
can make them feel better.
They feel good about themselves.
They feel insecure about themselves, and they rely on picking on another person to make themselves feel better.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's really all I have to say about that, is that if you want to stop all this violence and stuff at school, which in my opinion isn't too big of an issue from where I'm from, you got to treat others with respect.
Yeah.
Treat others the way you want to be treated.
The golden rule.
The golden rule right there.
So do you guys think bullying could ever be prevented, like completely?
No, I don't
Here's the
think so.
thing. I mean, if it does, I'll probably be dead before it happens. But that's just such a weird thing to say, honestly, like a hard thing to say, because, I mean, will, everybody be treated equally? Will, all the countries become one country and we all like unite and stuff like that? Can we have I don't know, even small stuff like unlimited supply of internet or some crap like that? I don't know. Everything's free. I don't know. That's a thing that some people just can't honestly answer. If you ask me, again, I don't think. I mean, I'll probably be dead before something like that happens, and possibly my kids and their grandkids will be dead before that happens.
Right.
Or maybe it'll come sooner than I think.
I mean,
I don't know.
It might be easier to do a small school like Bath, Ovid, Elsie, or PW, but like I mentioned, there are them schools with 2,000 or 3,000 kids in them. I mean, you're never not going to get any bullying. There's always going to be at least someone talking behind someone's back, and people aren't always going to see eye to eye on things. So people are going to want to beat up on each other, and you can do everything. I mean, PW has a Plank program. They call it Plank, and it's like peer mentoring. And it helps a lot of kids. It really does. But there are still people who go behind people's back. I mean, I'm sure prom was Saturday. I'm sure there was a lot going behind people's back and talking about them and whatnot. It's going to happen. I don't think there's any way to prevent it. It's high schoolers. We're all teenagers. And what do especially teenage girls like to do? Gossip.
Right.
Everyone's always going to gossip. So there's really, and even though that's not direct bullying, that's still bullying because you're talking about someone behind their back. So I really don't think there is any way to ever completely erase bullying in schools.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever going to happen completely. Sure, it might get better, but I don't think it's going to completely get rid of because, there's millions of people out there, millions of high schoolers, and, there's always at least one or a couple hundred to, that are, complete jerks to other people. And, not even in high school, sometimes, even in the workplace, for adults, there's still bullies, too. It's not just
the whole I'm better than you and I'm going to show it.
Right.
Yeah, it's not an exclusive high school thing.
So basically, it just boils down to if some people I was just thinking this. What I was going to say. So I say the only way possibly we could be all equal is if we agree on this sort of thing. But the thing is, from what I'm hearing, is that not everyone is going to accept the fact, we shouldn't gossip anymore or we shouldn't do this anymore. People are going to still do that.
There's always going to be something someone disagrees on.
Yeah.
And I think no one's ever going to ever completely agree everything.
Exactly. And that's the only way if we want all this up to that's how I see it. If we want this everything to all this crap to stop happening and we want our vision, they have to agree with our vision, and no one is always going to see eye to eye with us. And that's how wars happen. That's how, conflict happens. That's how all this stuff happens, honestly. And I think it's just a part of humanity that will never change, honestly.
Yeah, it's all about opinions, feelings, and all that type of stuff. And
how people are raised.
Yeah, it's what makes us human. It's what makes us all human. We're all different. We all have different opinions. There's some people out there that, think bullying's a good thing, and it's crazy as it sounds, but there's just people out there that are like that they're there's people that think crime is a good thing.
Well, some people think that bullying is like, like say for, I remembered hearing about like some person bullying some guy to lose weight and stuff like that. And he's like, well, if I bully him, he'll finally stop eating so that way he can lose that weight.
That's ridiculous.
And it doesn't work like that. And I remember hearing that on YouTube.
Here's the thing. In our human nature, we all have our unique opinion. Jake doesn't have the same opinion as Calvin. Calvin doesn't have the same opinion as Mike. Mike doesn't have the same opinion as me. And I don't have the same opinion as Bob, Frank, or Phil.
Right.
It doesn't matter. We all have the same opinion, or we all have different opinions. And there's always going to be those stuck-up people who are like, my opinion is 100% right. I am never wrong. My opinion is always...
One thing... Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. One thing to help with that, though, is accepting. And that's a big thing right here, because a good thing, like, going between me and Jacob, there are some games that me and you do not agree that we like, but yet we still respect each other's opinions on, like, certain things that we like. And I think... Yeah, no one's going to see eye to eye and stuff like that. But if more people have an understanding and respect for each other, I think that's a great start. And maybe, that way, that would definitely help. That always helps.
Like I said, there are a ton of people I know that are like, okay, your opinion is different than mine, but I completely respect your opinion. That's the way I am.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's a ton of people. Everybody has a different opinion than I do on at least one thing. Mm-hmm. And I respect everyone's opinion. Everyone has their own opinion. I can't change your opinion, and I'm never going to try.
Right.
But there are a lot of people out there, like I mentioned, stuck-up snobs, who just are like, I don't care. Your opinion is completely 100% wrong. You have to change your opinion, and I'm going to bully you until you change your opinion.
Right.
Like, for me, like, I was actually kind of like that. Like, I was simple-minded. I was like, since, like, school was everything for me, like, I was, like, everything was, like, I need to be smart, I need to get good grades. I thought everything was fact. Mm-hmm. So, like, when I liked something, I thought it was fact. So, like, when I heard someone else say that they didn't like it, I was like, no, you're wrong. Right. That is not, like, you have to like it because it's good.
That's always been a younger mindset.
Would that be, like, 7 years old, 8 years old?
Yeah.
Like, when you were in that, or was it more like...
I'd say I... like actually like started like actually seeing that there was different opinions out there, like when I started getting on the internet, or like around 10, 11.
Yeah. Well, I don't mean to offend anyone here, but in my opinion, that age of people aren't like book dumb, but they are just absolutely opinion and people wise, they're just straight up dumb, because they're like,
what, the young?
Just like
is it young people, or?
Yeah, it's just like Mike.
They're still learning.
You have your opinion, and as a young person, you're going to stick to that opinion. And I mean, I don't blame them. Like I said, I'm not offending anyone here.
Right.
But you just haven't learned that. Yeah. By the time you get to our age, you realize, there are a lot of opinions out there.
Yeah.
And
it's like, I remembered when I was like a young kid and stuff like that, and this was funny. I'd have an argument between like two different video game characters. I thought this character was better than yours, and I think this franchise is better. I used to be like that and stuff, and then when I got older, I started to be a little bit more open-minded. It's a thing that kids do, honestly.
Yeah. Granted, what do kids talk about with opinion? I like chocolate ice cream more than vanilla. I mean, what? Come on. Yeah, like, and you are dumb for not having that opinion as me. That's really what their argument's about. They aren't sitting here debating school safety or anything, because they just don't have the opinions of that yet.
Like every kid starts out every kid starts out like they think the whole world revolves around them, because like they were.
It doesn't.
Because
not gonna lie, there are still some teenagers that think that too.
Yeah,
I know plenty of people that think that.
I'm gonna get to
those people
get to
just
that.
need to grow up.
So like because their parents have spoiled them as a child, but then like as they grow older, it's up to the parents to tell them, hey, there's different things out there. Like you can't just like it doesn't revolve around you. The world revolves around everybody. Like or. Like you revolve around the world, like you're just a person. Mm-hmm. Like there's millions of other people just like you out there, and like it's up to the parents for them to parent them and like make sure they become respectable human beings, because there are people out there that are like complete jerks to people. It's
I mean, I know this guy, and of course I'm not gonna mention his name, but we talk politics a lot, and he always tries to convince me that his opinion is correct. Like, everything I mention that's not in his opinion, he's always screaming and yelling at me, telling me, no, this isn't right. Like, for example, he is a big gun rights person. He believes in the Second Amendment. And I keep telling him, but we got to put a way to stop this. And he keeps telling me, if you try to take away the guns, it's going to be a massacre, 6 million Americans die. I'm like, yeah, well, I don't know what to say to him, because he's always trying to make my opinion wrong. I'm like, you aren't going to change my opinion. Right. So, I mean, we could sit here and, part of it, I just love the debate we have. But, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Right. I'm going to respect his opinion.
Right.
And whether he respects mine or not, I don't care, because I respect his opinion.
Right.
So.
It's honestly, no offense to you guys, but it's not really too much of your choice. Well, sort of. I always like to think that, the public has, the word and stuff like that and the right to do all this, but it's also government and whatnot. I'm not huge into politics, of course. I don't know too much,
right.
But,
maybe we should swing this thing back in the favor of school safety.
Yeah.
How did we get to where we're at?
I don't know.
All right, so I guess
went from bullying to politics.
One of the last things I'd like to talk about is what do you guys see that's safe in your school, and what is unsafe?
Safe in my school.
Well, like I mentioned before, just a couple years ago, we put up a $6 million bond extension to our school, which a lot of it was a new wood shop and our whole Chromebook idea. But a big part of it is to, other than walking in the school first thing in the morning, if you come in after 8 o'clock, you have to buzz in, have one of the people in the office unlock the door for you, come up to another set of doors, and have them unlock that again for you. And then you have to step into the office and explain why you're there. You have to, sign in, you have to get visitors pass and whatnot, to where just not any Joe Schmo can just walk right through. And on them doors are also screening inside, to where if you bust the window, you can't just enter.
Right.
I know a lot of schools have it. It's almost like metal netting.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That's
even if you try to, I imagine if you try to jam your fist through that glass, you're gonna get a fistful of glass, and you're gonna get cut up due to that. That's just one of the many ways. Obviously, cameras all around the school and whatnot, and where I think that kind of lacks the safety is there's not a camera in every corner of the school. So, that's not really a safety issue, because there's plenty of them to where if someone goes to the back and pulls out a gun, you're still going to have enough cameras to see that. But that's more in terms of, drug, draining and whatnot. And the other thing I really don't think the school is completely safe on is that in the morning, you'll walk by the principal, he shakes your hand, and you're right on in. You could easily have a knife in your backpack, or if you have a small enough knife or big enough pockets, a knife in your pocket. You walk right into the school, and you're free range.
Right.
So that's one thing that I think they could improve on. But other than that, I just feel like we're one of the safest schools in the county because of our whole bond extension.
Right. The safest thing about my school, I think, is this is a lot to do with the students themselves. Everyone knows each other. Everyone is friends with each other. But even the jerks at our school don't they know each other. We're nice enough to each other. But the people that are considered jerks, quote unquote, they're just segregated into their own little group or whatever, and they're not people still talk to them enough to where they're still part of everybody, but I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, main thing is that everyone's friends with each other. They're everyone knows each other. So if someone says, "Hey, let's shoot up the school," everyone will know who it is, and they'll be able to. like pick out who it is and stuff.
Yeah.
And one unsafe thing, I actually don't know. I think it might be another safe thing. Our school has like these things called boots, and like basically what it is, it's like you close the door. Each door has like a hatch type thing, and basically like two holes on the bottom. Basically, you just take the boot, slide it into that hatch. The two stand things will go into the holes, and like it's kind of a glorified deadbolt, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, that's what PW used to have. Now, with the bond extension, they just have all the doors locked from the outside. Once you close it, you need a key to get in.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've never heard that
I mean,
before.
we used to have the boots. I can't remember what they call them now. But after we did that whole remodeling of the school, they made it to where, I mean, even to get into the copy room, the teacher's lounge, any room, even the bathroom, if you close it, you have to have a key to get back in. And that makes it to where if someone is in the school, they can't just walk into any classroom.
right. I think an unsafe thing about our school is that like during our passing times, the hallways can get really crowded.
Yeah.
So, and also after school, like there's a huge crowd like around the bus, and like someone could just place a bomb in that middle of the crowd, and there's like 30 people gone right there, and or same with the hallways.
Right.
It's crazy to think about, but it's true. Someone could clearly do that, and it could happen.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Kelvin?
I'm good on this one.
See, at our school, I think the unsafest thing is we have back doors that lead out to our parking lot, and all the time students are always going out there. Well, they leave like a pencil through the door so that it's like propped open and it doesn't actually lock. So anyone can just open it up.
Yeah, I remember
So if
that.
someone were to, get something out of their car, and they can just automatically open the door, and then they have access to the whole school.
Yeah, that's kind of what some of the kids do at PW too.
Mm-hmm.
And like I mentioned before, all the doors other than the front office and the handful of ones don't even have a handle on it, so you can't even get in.
Right.
And, Mike, what you mentioned with the bomb, I really don't see bombs as an issue because please, someone, don't prove me wrong on this. But where is someone going to get a bomb around here? I understand you can make homemade bombs and stuff, but I don't get where you're going to get the stuff to make it. I mean, sure, you could make kind of makeshift bombs and whatnot,
Chemistry's
but
a weird thing.
to actually make a full-on bomb, to me, is just something that you're never going to really see. And like I said, someone please don't prove me wrong.
Yeah.
Don't let me hear about an area school having a bombing. That would just absolutely suck. And I'd probably feel a little bad because, I'm sitting here talking about how I don't think I'm ever going to see this. But just to mention, you mention the bomb.
The thing with the makeshift bomb is that, like, even if you Google search it, you're going to be on the FBI watch list, like, instantly.
Yeah.
And like,
like we mentioned with the crowd, just as easy as placing a bomb, someone could pull a knife or someone could pull out a pistol or whatever. Anything could happen with that many people around.
Like with the Florida shooting, the kid had like what I think it was an AR-15, which is like an assault rifle.
Yeah. Now, I could go on and on all day about why we shouldn't have them in America, but I think we'd be still sitting here 5 hours from now and just hearing me talking about it. So I'm not even gonna go there.
I don't know if it was fully auto or not. If it was fully auto, like in that big crowd, you could just like gun down everybody, not even aimed. You could just
exactly. And I guess I'll just kind of touch on that a little bit. If there was one way that you could make schools way safer as far as threats to guns go, it's restrict the guns because, if someone's going to walk in there, they're going to make sure that they're going to be killing a lot of people,
Students
which you can just mow with an AR or any type of assault rifle or military-grade guns. You can just mow people down and with no problem, you can be out of there in a minute and have killed 100+ people.
Yeah.
Now, if you go in there with a shotgun or a rifle, now you're not going to have as many people killed. You're still going to get some people killed. At least if you restrict the gun, you're at least making them think a little more, okay, maybe the risk isn't so much for the reward. Maybe this isn't worth spending my whole life in jail about.
Yeah, because also, seriously, for one thing, you don't need an AK to freaking hunt deer or hunt really anything, because that's just
or self-defense. I don't see if any.
No,
if nobody has them, nobody needs them. Like they're like, well, I'm afraid my neighbor's gonna come with an AR. If he doesn't have an AR, you don't have an AR. If you don't have one, he doesn't have.
They were
one.
made specifically to kill people. That's what they were made for. They were made for wars, and they were made to kill people.
That's why I'm wondering why military-grade guns are being sold in America. Why?
I don't know.
But
you don't there's no need for fully automatic weapons. Semi-automatics, or just actually, there's not even need for rifles, maybe a hunting rifle for hunting, but
the three things that have been brought up to me that are uses for the AR-15 is trying to think of the word to use, game, for sport. Mm-hmm. Don't tell me I can't go out with my 20 gauge shotgun and have a good time. If I want to shoot tin cans, I can shoot tin cans. I don't need a military grade rifle to go have a good time, Right. And another one, self-defense. I mean, if someone can't shoot me a half mile away, I don't need to be able to shoot someone a half mile away.
A gun's a gun. It's gonna defend you or possibly kill you no matter what. A bullet's a bullet. If it's depending on where you shoot, it's gonna kill you. Yeah,
I feel like that for any gun, whether it's a shotgun. You'd have to have a plan. If you were a school shooter, you'd have to have a plan.
Yeah.
So any gun, whether that be an AR, whether that be a shotgun, you'd have to think about what you would want to do with it, and it's just I don't know. It's weird.
And the third reason I've heard people saying that they need ARs is because they have a right to.
Right.
The Second Amendment states that you have a right to bear arms. It doesn't say you have a right to have a military-grade rifle on you at all times and you have a right to use it. Mm-hmm. It says you have a right to use or to own a gun.
Right. Yeah. Here's my thing. There's no need for military-grade weapons. There's no need for civilians to have them. Only the military.
Right.
Second thing, if you're a civilian, I think you should only be able to buy a pistol because that's good enough. It's just a self-defense weapon. Mm-hmm. But if you want to hunt, for example, you need to get a hunting license in order to get the rifles and the shotguns.
Not to mention, it's illegal to use a military-grade rifle for hunting. I mean, you can use it for pest control, but I can I've shot plenty of raccoons with my 20 gauge. Works just fine. I don't need a military-grade rifle to shoot down a raccoon or a skunk or whatever it may be.
Right.
So anyone who says that, well, you don't need it. You just don't need a military-grade gun, and the only reason they're really there is to hurt people because that's what they're used for in the military. So why are we selling them in America?
I mean, this is coming from someone who barely uses guns. The only time, I shot a couple guns in my life. I shot a 20 gauge, 12 gauge, a hunting rifle, and I actually did shoot a M16 assault rifle. Mm-hmm. And honestly, they all at least to me, since I'm not really a gun nut, it all of them were just guns to me. I didn't really think there was really a difference, especially between the hunting rifle and the M16. They're both just as effective against the tin cans we were shooting or targets we were shooting.
Mm-hmm. I have no experience with guns. The only person I've ever shot was someone in Overwatch. So that was about and how they're shooting games.
Maybe that's part of the reason too why there's so much violence in our schools is that these video games that are kind of out, Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you come to think about it.
This was the topic we were going to talk over. Here we go.
You come to think about it. I mean, I'm not saying all those games are bad, but when you encourage the idea of killing people in video games, there are a lot of people like you guys, I'm sure you guys do, have at least played a military game in your life. I have too. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of us that sit back and go, you know what? It's a little fun to play that game,
Yeah.
but I ain't never going to bring it into
Yeah.
the real world. But there are some people who are like, man, that's a lot of fun. I want to see what it's like in the real world,
Yeah.
and turns them psycho.
Yeah,
right.
like,
Yeah.
I kind of understand where you're going with that, but like, I know plenty of people who play like games like Call of Duty and stuff that like they accidentally ran over like a little squirrel or whatever, and they felt so bad, like they couldn't believe they actually did that, and then like
Me.
yeah, and then but my thing about the video games is that like, well, this is more about the kids than like adults actually buying the games.
There's
like,
some crazy adults out there too.
yeah, but this is more about like teenagers and stuff. Like it's up to the parents for them to like probably.
I was just going to say that. It's up to the parents to be sure that they're not playing. What?
Nothing.
It's up to the parents to be sure that they're not playing too much, that they're not getting addicted to it, and that they're not starting to bring it into the world.
Yeah, well, like I hear so many parents go like, okay, so these video games are so violent, they're so bad. I can't believe my kids are playing this, and I'm just like, why are you buying them for them then?
Yeah.
I don't understand their logic.
Calvin, I know you have a very strong opinion on that. Would you like to share it?
Oh, you mean with
Violence? Yeah.
I don't have a super strong opinion on it. My only thing is, it really just depends on the person, honestly. Like what Mike said, you know, if the parents feel like they're ready to play games, then they should. But, you know, I don't know exactly.
So, do you guys have any final opinions on school safety?
Well, I think there's always going to be room for improvement. There's never going to be completely a 100% sure way that this is what's going to stop school violence, this is what's going to make schools safer. Because, you know, obviously schools have different budgets, so to completely say, okay, let's do this, this might be good for one school, but I know plenty of schools in the area that aren't as well funded. So unless you give all the schools the same budget, they're all going to have different, you know, different things, different safety features. And I also think that there's going to be ways to get around it. Like there's always going to be a way that a bully is going to bully if he tries hard enough. There's always going to be a way that someone is going to create a threat if they truly want to create a threat.
Right.
So that's my closing thought on that, is that nothing, I mean, I'm always going to hope there's a way, but I don't think there's ever going to be a way that, yes, this will for sure take care of the problem.
I just want schools to be safer in general, like in the future. I don't want my children or grandchildren to, like, go to school and not feel safe. I don't want them to go there and not know when they'll come home. Like, I just want schools to be safer in general.
Right.
And, like, I don't want to worry about them not coming home. I just want schools to be safer.
Yeah.
Whether it's gun control or less bullying or stuff, just make something happen.
Well, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you in the next podcast.